The Half-Life series is monumental. It has greatly influenced the gaming world and set a new standard for games, FPS games in particular. Valve built an interesting dystopian world with its Half-Life installments. Half-Life 2 already presents us with a dystopian setting where humanity is enslaved by an intergalactic alien force, known as the Combine. The final released version is already pretty grim, but Valve actually planned it to be a lot darker and even more dystopian than we see in the final released version of the game. This darker dystopian Half-Life was the beta version of the game. It featured a darker world, both figuratively and literally, with an incredibly oppressive tone similar to movies like 1984 and Dark City. The air was purposefully polluted by the Combine and made toxic. The sky was covered in heavy, dark smog, and the Combine looked even more sinister and authoritarian. The beta version had a different plot that would take Gordon on a worldwide trip. This vision was scrapped because of leaks at the time, and the game had to be reworked in a relatively short time period by Valve. But many fans of the universe were and still are dreaming of what could have been, an alternate vision of events, an alternate view of the world of Half-Life. This inspired me to try and merge both Half-Life 2 release ideas and aesthetics with the beta ones, and mix them with my own ideas in a series of videos, expanding both the beta and the release lore, while intertwining and mixing them together. So what exactly is going on in Half-Life? This is going to be a short recap. Half-Life follows the scientist Gordon Freeman, who triggers a resonance cascade at the Black Mesa facility, opening a portal to the alien world of Zen and causing an alien invasion. Freeman fights through alien creatures and military forces, eventually teleporting to the alien world known as Zen and killing the alien leader, before being placed in a stasis by the mysterious G-Men. In Half-Life 2, Freeman is awoken by the G-Men 20 years later, finding Earth occupied by the alien force known as the Combine, a trans-dimensional empire guided by allies like Alex Vance. Freeman leads a rebellion, destroying the Combine stronghold, the Citadel, in City 17, and initiating the events of the episodes. So the Combine, who are they? In the released version, the Combine are a massive interdimensional empire that conquers the world in only 7 hours. The Combine technological superiority outmatched anything humans could respond with. Following Earth's surrender, the Combine have installed Dr. Wallace Breen as a human administrator, creating somewhat of a feel of self-rule while maintaining total control. Massive citadels were constructed across major cities, acting as command centers, resource processors, and dimensional anchors linking Earth to the Combine space. To prevent resistance, the Combine enacted several control measures. One of the most devastating was the suppression field, which halted the human reproduction. Combined with strict population control, forced relocation, and surveillance, humanity was reduced from a civilization to a slave workforce. Most Combine forces encountered on Earth, aside from civil protection, are modified humans. Civil protection units enforce order at street level, while Overwatch soldiers are surgically altered, indoctrinated, and deployed as troops. These soldiers are not fully autonomous. They operate under constant command directives, stripped of identity and free will, basically just biological robots. The Combine also deployed enslaved alien forms. Massive striders function as mobile war machines. Advisors serve as overseers and strategists, and other bioengineered creatures fill specialized combat roles. All Combine technology blends biology and machinery to some degree, or at least a big portion of their technology, as they also deploy drones. This is the Combine we got in the release version. This differs somewhat from the beta version of the Combine. In the Half-Life 2 beta, the Combine are an even more brutal totalitarian regime, whose control over the world is absolute and unapologetic. Unlike the retail version, where oppression is severe but somewhat subtle, the beta Combine are dark in their appearance and are a force of pure oppression and destruction. They are not subtle in the least. Earth is actively being erased and poisoned through Combine air exchange facilities. In the beta, the aftermath of the 7-hour war is far more severe. Entire cities are decaying under common rule, and massive wastelands stretch beyond city walls, inhabited by hostile alien fauna. While this is also the case in the released version as well, the beta is far more apocalyptic in both look and scale. Civilian populations are openly oppressed, and resistance is met with immediate overwhelming force. The beta Combine are more of a sledgehammer, blunt and efficient, employing only the most pragmatic solutions to their problems. The human forces of the Combine have a much more darker and dystopian design, inspired by empires and reichs from history and media. Everything the Combine touches is augmented and forcefully evolved into the image of the Combine, as seen with many synths and human Combine units. Alien presence is far more visible and invasive. Synth creatures, such as early versions of the Striders and other biomechanical entities, roam urban environments with little restraint. The Combine are not just occupiers, they are terraforming the Earth, reshaping the planet into something alien and hostile to human life. The Beta Combine also shows a stronger focus on resource extraction and industrial exploitation. Entire districts are stripped, polluted, and abandoned after use. Humanity is simply being slowly worked and exploited to death. Dr. Breen's role, or the Consul as he was known in the beta, is far more openly authoritarian. He has a more stronger appearance to him, rather than Breen's more disarming appearance. He has that classic 20th century dictator look to him. He acts as a Combine mouthpiece, justifying their actions and fully complicit in humanity's destruction. There is no ambiguity to him. He is simply a dictator. What separates the beta Combine from the retail version is tone. In the beta, the Combine do not pretend to care about stability and long-term coexistence. Their rule feels temporary and exploitative, as if the Earth is already written off, a planet being drained before abandonment. The bottom line is, in the Half-Life 2 beta, the Combine are an occupying force actively killing the world. I have decided to rework the civil protection first, using both beta and retail ideas, as they are the first Combine units we see in the game, and are set up as the player's introduction to the Combine in Half-Life 2. What comes next is my own interpretation and ideas for the lore, and will differ from the original games. My intent is to merge retail ideas and beta ideas into a single vision, as I said before. This is not official lore in any way. After the 7-hour war and humanity's capitulation to their new overlords, a new world order began. The Combine started forming ghettos to limit autonomous movement of the population and control them more easily. For this purpose, they require not only surveillance technology, but also ground units that could enforce Combine policy. For this reason, civil protection was formed, the lowest tier of Combine authority on Earth. They function as police, informants, crowd control, and enforcing Combine law within human cities. These new Combine police units were equipped with minimal gear, a Combine-issued jumpsuit, heavy-duty work boots, synthetic rubber gloves, and a respirator that attached with a hose to a Combine air recycling unit slung over the body with a strap. They were initially armed with regular non-Combine pistols and standard batons for crowd control. Unlike Overwatch soldiers, civil protection units are not yet surgically altered. They're regular humans recruited from the population. The Combine coerced them into joining not only for survival but also by offering a chance to integrate into the new power structure. This approach naturally attracted antisocial individuals who craved power and possessed narcissistic tendencies. A smaller percentage joined out of fear, uncertainty, and the need to survive, with no ambitions of power. In the initial phases of the Combine takeover, there was still no Overwatch AI to issue instructions, alerts, and permissions through Combine networks. The alien invaders avoided direct interaction with humans and took to a more gradual approach. Although the invasion itself was swift and crushing, the Combine took their time with the occupation. Combine synths and drones seized armories, police stations, and all remaining critical infrastructure. Initially, humans were forced to handle most logistical tasks that were not industrial in scale, while larger projects were carried out by synths and drones. Conscription offices were established and run by collaborators who received their orders from the drones and terminal systems. The civil protection units that were formed during this period had greater autonomy, as Overwatch Command was not yet fully centralized. The newly constructed ghettos were chaotic and prone to breakouts, and it was within this environment that civil protection operated. From the very beginning of their enforcement of Combine law, it was clear that these forces were not created to protect anyone. Instead, they functioned more as prison guards. Civil protection units abused their power and spread terror among civilian population. After the initial occupation, the Combine began draining the earth and its natural resources, including oxygen. The air became increasingly polluted by Combine industry, and breathing it in grew ever more toxic. Because of that, civil protection units received better gas masks, with integrated Combine respirators, which filtered toxins more effectively and protected the face, eyes, and skin. The whole body was enclosed, as the world became more increasingly toxic to humans. As the population was gradually broken and became more complacent and demoralized by their state of existence, ghettos tightened, movement was increasingly restricted, rationing became standard, and surveillance continued to rise. Those who could not endure this reality began to resist, even if it was hopeless. The underground resistance was forming, and violent raids on civil protection units started occurring. As a countermeasure to this early resistance, civil protection units were equipped with SMGs, most commonly MP5Ks, and simple webbing gear. Weapons could vary depending on the region. For this account, I use Half-Life Eastern European setting as a reference. The Combine did not fully trust them, as civil protection were unaugmented humans, and advanced technology was withheld from them, fearing some might collaborate with the resistance. As time passed and Combine control consolidated, the construction of the Citadel was in full swing, and Overwatch AI began its initial deployment, and the alien regime's grip tightened around the civilians' necks once more. Gradually, the initial shock of the invasion and occupation began to fade from people's memory. Civil protection officers were indoctrinated via Combine propaganda. Over time, even they began losing autonomy and started conforming to Overwatch orders. Surveillance and security were further tightened through automated processes. Civil protection became more restricted to Overwatch commands, and their equipment became increasingly standardized. As pollution worsened, so did the resistance. Underground groups ramped up raids in search of better environmental protection and survival gear, making confrontations more dire and brutal in response. The Combine equipped civil protection with better environmental and ballistic protection. However, they still withheld anything too advanced. Fearing potential collaboration with the resistance, civil protection received bulletproof vests made from Combine synthetic fibers, offering flexibility and protection against small arms fire, along with improved radio gear built with Combine technology, and they were also equipped with better masks and better air filtration capabilities as well. Regarding Combine tech, in the released version of the game, it had a distinct look, unorthodox angles, and almost awkward design, not intended for humans. While preparing for this video, I was reading Raising the Bar, which details the design process for both Half-Life games. As I studied the concept art and design notes, it became clear to me that Valve experimented with many ideas and iterations for the Combine's appearance, technology, and architecture. There was no single definitive beta-era Combine style, and even the Citadel underwent numerous design changes, with each version differing significantly inside and out. I liked the final version of the Combine tech, but I wanted to create a more consolidated beta look, beta aesthetic for the technology, weapons, clothing, and structures. To do this, I look at the scattered ideas from the book and infuse them with my own concepts during the design process. Now back to the lore. These were the first few years of the occupation. Although the changes were gradual, they occurred rapidly, as the Combine could respond to any threat to their operations swiftly. Developing and creating new technology and weaponry was a relatively simple task for them. Eventually, after 10 years of occupation, the Combine had sealed off its major hubs and cities. Resistance within populated areas was minimal. Raids were few and far between. The Combine had perfected the art of instilling terror and demoralization in citizens, keeping them broken, confused, and dependent on their overlords. Civil protection had upgraded to full uniforms, designed to intimidate and project order and control. The new suits offered superior protection against fire, toxins, and radiation. Over this suit, officers wore an upgraded bulletproof vest with expanded coverage. They also had advanced Combine masks that no longer required external equipment and featured integrated communications in the helmet. This represents the finalized look of the regular civil protection agent. Over time, agents had to undergo Combine programming to ensure their loyalty to the regime. Psychological conditioning produced agents who fully embraced the Combine, believing in its cause. This conditioning prepared them for further augmentation. In my view, Combine augmentation of humans should remain partial. It replaces human desires with those of the regime through brainwashing, implants, and forced evolution. The next step for a civil protection agent, if he wants to grow in the organization, is to become an officer. Officers have to be augmented and linked to Overwatch and Combine Command to greater degree. They undergo irreversible changes that integrate Combine technology into their spines, brains, lungs, and abdomen. The reproductive capabilities are erased, leaving them half human, half Combine. They retain human traits where the Combine find it beneficial, and become alien in aspects that serve the interest of their overlords. They are equipped with advanced helmets with integrated communications directly connected to the user's skull, and advanced Combine armor that also integrates directly with the body. Made from Combine materials, it can stop assault rifle rounds and includes built-in injectors that administer medicine or adrenaline depending on the user's situation. Now these are the civil protection units. But what weapons do the Combine field in? At first, they carried normal human weapon designs, pistols and SMGs. The Combine then developed their own variants of human firearms. Regular civil protection units are usually seen with the SP2 Combine pistol or the Combine EM1 stun baton. As the Combine came into contact with human weapons, they modified them to fit their needs. The Combine is all about assimilating anything that they deem useful. Typically, regular civil protection grunts wield a standard Half-Life 2 SMG with tweaked Combine sights, while officers are seen with the AS3 Combine-made SMG. Combine weapons fire modified SMG rounds, not the AR2 rounds that are seen in the game, as advanced ammo is reserved to the Combine army. I'm gonna show you again the designs for the pistol, the Combine pistol, the Combine SMG, and the Combine stun baton. As you see, the design of the Combine tech in my vision is very different in tone from the release. Some may like it, some may not. You be the judge if I did a good job. But this is my interpretation of the Half-Life 2 beta Combine aesthetic. Rugged, dirty, and full of unusual angles, just like the beta. It always felt strange to me that there weren't more Combine weapons in the original game. Thankfully, Half-Life Alyx expanded on it. And so are the many mods who try and explore the beta. Many of the footages you have seen in the background are from mods like Raising the Bar Redux and Dark Interval. Please, if you want, please go and check them out. They did a great job at making their own vision of Half-Life 2 beta. With that, I end this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Subscribe, like if you want. Support me if you want. Thank you and goodbye.